and you'll be envious. I thought this guy, since I'm not carrying him along, this guy will suffer. You see this guy rising and rising, with you contributing nothing to his success. Now, what can the state do to strengthen anger? Sorry, to manage anger? I've said we should have counseling services in our schools and public sectors. Then, number two, the state attitude and reaction to anger related can trigger off anger. How you respond to anger can create more anger. Let me just give one quotation here. The Red Alert flag posted in 1990, which was implemented on the Niger Delta. This attitude was displayed. They said the Niger Delta is a dangerous and insecure place, inhabited in the main by criminals and bandits who are out to deny the country of the much needed foreign exchange. Leading the pack of these blood of vipers is a host of hostage takers, kidnappers, and oil thieves, restive youths, and that these people are not willing to work and mischief makers. Now, this was the attitude developed by government towards the Niger Delta. But again, in another tone, the amnesty program introduced by the Uduaghan administration in 2009 and implemented by the present administration of President Goodluck Jonathan, and the various interventionist strategies such as the three-point agenda of our governor of Delta State appear to have abated active conflict in the Niger Delta region. The attitude of government before 2009, the approach of government was that these people are criminals, so go and wipe them away. The same government had a rethink, came up with an amnesty program. Let us constructively engage them. And today what we have in the Niger Delta, peace. 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 We can also minimize anger or its dangerous expression through the instrumentality of good governance. Let democracy be democracy. Let democracy be the government of the people, for the people, by the people. Meaning that let the voice of the people be supreme and ultimate as to who becomes their leader, as to who manages their resources. There won't be any peace in the political terrain. No, there's no way, no miracle that can change it. If you don't allow the people to choose their leaders, if you don't have the leaders, you don't allow the people to say, this person should lead me. That is the most important solution to the political crisis. Then, good governance also entails infrastructure development. Please, as we are putting roads, good roads, we are putting good hospitals and so on, let us also remember the stomach infrastructure. We need people who are healthy, who are well-fed, to drive on the roads. We need people that are healthy and well-fed to go to schools. The stomach infrastructure must be properly managed. By way of conclusion, I've said all that. I wish to appreciate, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank the governor for this special privilege to present this lecture. I sincerely feel honored and humbled. We also use the opportunity to join the long list of Deltans and Nigerians to say a big congratulations to our amiable governor, his wife of great character and substance, and the entire family of His Excellencies for His Excellency's attainment of 60 years in grand style. Permit me to say also that His Excellencies Dr. Emmanuel Uduaghan is a role model in many respects. He's humble, respectful, well-behaved, and ambitious at childhood. Hardworking, scholastic, and erudite in school. Goal-driven, disciplined at home and disciplined at home. Calm, visionary, courageous, unassuming, yet uncompromising in political engineering and community service. May God Almighty grant you more prosperous, healthy, and peaceful years ahead to enable you bountifully reap the fruits of your sacrifice to your family, Delta State, and Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together once more for Professor Benjamin Okaba. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, while he was delivering his lecture, some distinguished Nigerians stepped in. First, he was one time Honorable Minister of Finance. At another time, he was Secretary to the Federation. At another time, a presidential candidate. And now the National Chairman of the Social Democratic Party, Chief Olufalaye. Let's put our hands together for him. And we'd also like to welcome the Chief J.A. Fatuoyibo. He is a leader of the Afenifere. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, will go to the second lecture. And I have the singular honor and privilege to invite my Lord Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka, the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese. Let's put our hands together for him.
Your Excellency, I want to wish you a very happy birthday. I want to congratulate your wife for managing your anger and your frustration. Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor, other members of the National and State Assemblies, aspiring governors, His Eminence, my brother, my friend, the Sultan of Sokoto, other distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I think it was just fitting that you asked Professor Ben to speak before me. Perhaps Delta State government wishes to advertise this program of stomach infrastructure. And I'm sure, as you can see, between myself and himself, there's definitely a great difference. But before getting to my paper, there are a few things that His Eminence said that I think it's necessary to go back to. And they relate to our being here. I am sure that people watching me in Port Harcourt will be a bit shocked because I finished delivering a lecture in Port Harcourt at 10:30 this morning and then headed off for the airport. And but being here is definitely not an accident. I was prepared to do everything possible to be here. In part because His Excellency responded to my appeal to him to come over to Sokoto. And I actually had no reason because he kept trying to ask me what he was supposed to come and do. And the truth was that I had really no reason. Except that after we built a small clinic in Sokoto, he kept appearing on my radar as the only person I thought I could invite, being a medical doctor himself. And those of you who may recall the lovely picture of His Eminence and His Excellency cutting the tape in our small clinic. The picture went across different newspaper and media houses. But what is also very significant was that the Sultan spoke very briefly, but said a lot of quite astonishing things. One which I remember very well was him saying that in their battle against malaria, they had come to realize that one of the most religious animals or insects of God's creation was the mosquito. Because the mosquitoes faithfully